It's time for the EZ Sports Talk Show. Here come your hosts, National Football League and Major League Baseball athlete Ed Smith and hip-hop artist, producer, and sports enthusiast Javon.
You think we should still have like Earl try to voice that? Or?
As a matter of fact, when he's on, we're going to talk to him.
Okay.
EZ Sports Talk takes you beyond the usual sports and highlights, behind the curtain look at the world of sports, dropping knowledge with honest, fun-filled commentary. EZ Sports Talk, built for both the avid and casual sports fan. Now, here are your hosts, EZ Smith and Javon J-Luv Adams.
Where do I begin? Used to sing tenor in the church choir. Really, I was
Real life.
And welcome to the EZ Sports Talk Show. Host Ed Smith, joined by my brother and co-host Mr. Javon Adams, aka J-Luv. We're getting the bounce on, huh?
Yeah.
Feel good Saturday right here. Hey, this is one of those shows where we are packed. I feel like one of those plastic bags that you go get the candy in, and the candy is actually spilling out of it. We got so much stuff to talk about. This show, I don't know.
Damn candy.
I was like, hey, bro, I love me some candy when I can get it. So I don't have a huge sweet tooth, but this depends on what it is.
Yes,
but
sir.
Great show lined up today. A lot of great topics from ASU to Cardinals, individual stories going on within the Cardinals, the city of Glendale. I mean, you name it. We got stuff to talk about. So hopefully we get to everything. In the meantime, if you want to get at us on the EZ Sports Talk hotline, you can give us a call at 602-260-1060. Aaron is behind the glass waiting on you. You can tweet at us at the EZ Sports Talk, at Ed Smith Speaks, and at Javon Love, and that's Love with LUV.
And then we're also on YouTube Live right now as well, so you can search EZ Sports Talk Show, and then our Facebook page is EZ Sports Talk Show as well. So catch us when you're doing it.
So we are creeping toward the start of the NFL season. Cardinals preseason game last night. We'll get into that shortly. We're going to have Earl Casual Eve from KSRN. He's going to join us at 10:30. I can't wait to get some of his feedback. You know where I am. We talked before the show where I am on certain aspects.
We know that everybody's on the same page on that team.
Oh, sure.
That's what we know.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had some questions answered through this week, through the media, and then through the game last night. We'll reveal what that is. First thing we wanted to talk about, something that's been under the radar, and it's in our backyard, and we really haven't touched on it through the summer. ASU football, obviously they're getting ready to kick their season off. Season opener is on September 2nd. They face off with Southern Utah, comes in a little, not preseason, but a little softy kickoff. But in the meantime, they've had some incidences going on over at with the program back in, I think it was late June or maybe in sometime. They had some instances. An investigation has been going on. Let's just say that.
Yes, sir.
And they've had 3 coaches so far placed on paid leave. So D-back coach Chris Hawkins, wide receiver coach Prentice Gill, and Hawkins, and the tight end coach Adam Brenneman, all have been put on paid leave. Part of an investigation into the ASU program, they were hosting prospects and recruits during what was considered a dead period from March 2020 to June 2021. And it was because of the coronavirus. They were trying to, keep kids safe, mitigate
actions and stuff.
Yeah. So it was reported that 30 athletes visited ASU during the dead period, and coaches routinely bumped into recruits in the back stairwell.
What up, man?
Yeah, hey.
Man?
Many tours happened at night, according to the story. So this is kind of one of those things that it's not supposed to happen. And now the argument is everybody does it, because some of the articles are talking about what's going on. But this, now my question to you is, because Herm Edwards has what I would consider a very clean reputation. He's fresh to the college ranks.
Yes.
But does this, and not remarkably, but they're ranked 25th to start out the season in the preseason poll. We all know those don't mean much, but it means that the program is at least ascending, right?
Yes.
Does these allegations and what may come of them, does this tarnish what they're doing over there? Obviously, you start putting coaches on paid leaves, I mean,
it doesn't look good. But here's the thing: what is it? Antonio Pierce, I believe, is the kind of the assistant head coach or co-head coach or whatever his title is, but quickly ascending. He was up for the job at Arizona, at University of Arizona, the head coaching job. But so it's speculated in terms of in these reports that are coming out that he was the one spearheading all of this. He was the one that would kind of make sure, okay, are you in or are you out? And if you were out, then you're just not going to be privy to the information that was being disseminated to those that were bought in. And apparently some of those people that were in, when they didn't get what they wanted, when they felt a little bit maligned, a little bit sidelined, they ended up kind of telling on them. I mean, that's what it comes down to. They snitched.
Yeah.
I mean, some pictures and text message and things, and you're not getting that. If the NCAA comes up to you and says, Ed, I want you to give me your text message, you just say, nah. But if you just, here, NCAA, I'm sending this to you. I don't know how you got it. I don't know how you got it. And that's, so there's definitely a breakdown in that communication. It's funny. It makes you think of when you're in kindergarten and they say, let me know if something's going on. And so you raise your hand and say, teacher, so happened. And then you get to be in second or third grade and they say, okay, don't be a tattletale.
Don't be a tattletale,
Don't be a tattletale. So if somebody decided to not keep these things to themselves, and from things that have started to trickle out, I think we were talking before the show. I think we mentioned maybe Nebraska. Same time. So you can't expect that ASU was the only program that had this epiphany to say, let's see what we can do to skirt the rules and operate right on the fringes, or maybe cross that line from time to time.
And I wonder what type of, there's always just degrees and levels of infractions, right?
Right.
And this is obviously during a pandemic. So I'm wondering how serious the NCAA is, which is taking a beating right now with everything going on with this conference stuff and different things. We'll talk about that later on. But what authority they have, or what type of degree of punishment, or if any at all, is there if these allegations are true, or how deep this investigation goes, and how high does it go? I always wonder, because you and I talk all the time. The CEO of any organization / coach of any team or program, it's hard to believe that they don't know something.
Yeah.
To the degree of what they know, there's always speculation. But if they're, like, for instance, if there's anything that's going on that shouldn't be going on, head coach or CEOs, I say, that's the person that say, hey, knock that off, right?
Yes.
To a certain degree.
Yes.
So how does the water reach the top floor of the establishment?
It's one of those things where we've seen in the corporate world where the CEO takes the fall for what's going on. So I guess it depends on what you mean by all the way up, because the CEO of the ASU football program is Herm Edwards. Yeah. The CEO of the athletic department is what's his name? Anderson, right? Mm-hmm. And so it just depends, because again, it's. I remember that when my dad, the first time that he caught me in a lie when I was 7, he caught me in a lie before, but I remember I was about 16, 17, and I told him that I was taking my then girlfriend, soon to be now wife, out on a date. And we were going to be going to the movies. And so the next morning, that Saturday, he said, so you went out last night? And I said, yeah. And he said, what'd you see? I paused. And he said, yep. And then he went about his business. So he knew that I was lying to him. But I guess it's a matter of what degree, right? So what degree? And so you're hoping that if you turn a blind eye, or you act as if you're not, I don't see what you're doing over there. It's that person that says, hey, you mind if I, can I get a free donut? Well, let me look through this. My head, I don't see what you're doing. So if you happen to grab a donut, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so you just wonder what that level of awareness was.
And I'm looking through the article now, and there were, I guess, instances where players were introduced to Herm. I do think that was in the article. So whether he knew or not, like I said, it's kind of gray area. If you go see the coach, that's considered an infraction. And then how they get there in the first place, through the assistant coaches. I always find out interesting is these low. It all starts at the lower level.
2 minutes.
With these coaches that are just getting started with their careers, and it's like
They're doing whatever they can, and they know it's wrong. You know it's wrong, or you just hope that you're insulated enough. Meaning that insulated in the sense that everybody is trying to pull the rope in the same direction. So therefore, we shouldn't have anybody that decides to go rogue, and some people went rogue for sure.
yeah. But we'll see. Like I said, it'll be an interesting, and I think this is. Do you think? How many years has Herm been here now? 3, 4,
3 or
4?
Yeah.
When do we start to see the program turn around? It's like I said, ranked 25th already to start the season is a good sign. We'll see where it goes from there. But
1 minute.
it'll be interesting to see if this really affects everything.
Yeah.
So
People leaving them, they already decommitted, doing some transferring. So
those things are program, yeah.
They do.
So what we got going on is a great show ahead of us. Like I said, we're gonna jump into some Cardinals next. I'm excited to talk about this preseason game we saw yesterday and one of our franchise players here. I'll try to keep it real, and I can definitely interested in your thoughts on last night's game. So appreciate everybody hanging out with us on this beautiful, I guess still hot, it's about 100. Beautiful Saturday out here in Arizona. We're going to keep rolling from here. I hope you're having a great Saturday so far. You're listening to us on KDUS 1060 AM, as well as KSLX HD channel 200.7 AM, Facebook. Be back after these messages, folks.
Are you okay?
on KTUS AM 1060 and KTUS1060.com.
On that good tonight. I'll be on that.
Yeah.
On that. I like on that good tonight. I'll be on that good tonight.
Yeah, and welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. The choice right there.
I'll be on that. I'll be on that all day straight up.
Yes. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday so far. Appreciate you hanging out, EZ and J, on the Easy Sports Talk Show. This segment right here is brought to you by
Milano Music, family owned and operated for over 75 years. Over 50,000 square foot showroom and repair facility, 18 instrument rental depots across the valley. Visit milanomusic.com or call them at 480-827-1111. That's MILANO music.com, 480-827-1111.
And just program alert. Keep up with us because we're going to have Casual E from KSRN. He's going to join us next segment to jump in with a little Cardinals talk. Can't wait to get his thoughts on last night's game. Cardinals end up losing to the Chiefs 17-10, and we all know preseason games don't mean anything as far as your record. But yeah, I've been there. They mean a whole lot to a whole lot of people, meaning fighting for jobs. Right now, the rosters are at 80. By the end of next, not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, they're going to be down to 53. So a lot of young men could be looking for jobs. So it is an important thing for coaches who are evaluating, to players trying to make teams. It's very valuable.
Yes, sir.
We have a young man on our team, and I was very disappointed because last week you and I were talking about this very subject. They sat Kyler Murray in the very first game, preseason game, and our thoughts were, well, whose decision was it? Did they sit him, meaning coaches, or did they come down from up top and say, hey, this is what you're doing?
Right.
Come to find out, and Kyler Murray, he just came right out as he did an interview during the week. He said straight up, he does not like the preseason games, doesn't want to play in them, and he thinks they're meaningless. They don't count for anything. And, why even have them basically in the first place, right? So we get him out there for 3 series yesterday.
Right.
This is his first preseason action. No preseason last year in 2020. Here we go. We're trying to get our season kicked off. Not sure how much we're going to see him. Yeah. He goes and lays a big stink bomb with 3
He was
and
under
out.
center, though.
One snap. One snap under center.
Under center.
And that was right, just to prove a point. It was a quick handoff, nothing else. The last 8 snaps, all garbage. Yeah. He got sacked twice, a fumble in it. Here's my problem. He looked so disinterested. First off, we read the article during the week, and I was like, wow, okay, so maybe we know why he didn't play last week. And he was so disinterested. And then his performance, as far as being a leader, and here's my biggest problem. Okay. I'll set up after this, let you talk. Yeah. Across the way on the other side of the field, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
Super Bowl champion, MVP, Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yes.
He played deep into the second half, almost a full half of football, was doing everything. They had their first teamers out there. He's scrambling. He actually ran for a couple first downs in harm's way. This is preseason. It doesn't mean anything, right?
Right.
He's out there trying to get timing. They're working on things. There was a particular wide receiver, number 17, can't remember his name, tried to go to him like 3 or 4 or 5 times. Timing wasn't there, but at least they're working on it, right? Right. Our young quarterback was so disinterested and could have cared less whether he was out there. The 3 and outs, and then next thing he's on the sideline, just hanging out, conversation, laughing. How disappointed. Here's the thing. I lost a lot of good feeling that I thought I might have meaning for this 2021 season, as well as the future, meaning the long-term future and leadership of our so-called franchise quarterback. And I'll say it, and people out there, you listen to me, you say whatever you want. I've been in there in the locker room. I guarantee there's a whole lot of dudes on that team who are like me, who are scuffling, trying to make a roster. And you got this dude who he's got the world in the palm of his hand. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's prep, whatever it is. When you're out there on the field, you got to be going 100%, and you got to be enjoying what you're doing. He's basically, I don't care, So there's a lot of dudes that in that locker room. I guarantee you that were like, really, this is what you're gonna give us here? And here I am fighting and clawing and scratching. And so for me, I lost some, I guess, love for our quarterback. Now it's going to be interesting over the next few weeks and how this season goes, see if he can pull me back in. But what were your thoughts?
You mentioned a couple different things. This is the first thing that comes to mind is the difference between somebody being a great leader and being a powder.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just bear with me for a second. It's the person that wins the championship and they're competitive, and then they lose the championship and they are selfish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's who that person was the whole time. You just chose to look at it through whatever lens that you want to look through. So the thing is, when I can remember watching some of the interviews as he was preparing it, leading up to his rookie year, and seeing that he looked to be a little bit aloof.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that's the definitive. That could just be the way that I see it. But in the locker room, he could be really a leader and all that. But maybe it's the culmination of things maybe coming easy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, because being supremely talented and then things coming so easy, you're given certain things. You're given certain liberties, whereas other people are not. And so as a result, you take advantage of those liberties that you're given. Additionally, I've heard many people say this, offensive linemen specifically. Some people end up playing basketball. They say, I don't love the game. I play it because I'm good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I play because I'm good at it. I can make a good living at it. I don't live and breathe this. This is just is what I do. I'm sure that I would imagine his first love is probably baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it because I'm good at it. And there you go. So this part of this game that I'm not necessarily enthralled with, I don't really want to do it. So therefore, hey, coach, don't put me in, man. I'm straight. And that can lead to it's even on the lowest levels of, let's say, of football, where you're playing just Pop Warner football, and you have a scrimmage against the team, which is what a preseason game is. We're going to scrimmage this other team, right? And if you have players that don't show focus or that don't show the necessary intensity, that's going to be an issue, because you have to, if you're going to play, I need you all in. Whether you love it or not, I need you in, because your lack of concentration, your lack of desire can lead to somebody losing his job, can lead to many people losing their job.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the compound effect is
Well, this is our livelihood. This is as players, you're out there, right? We're all out there as a team. This is not just all about you and what you feel like doing. So, and this is the leader of your offense.
I will say this, I know but it also makes me think of somebody else on the sideline that just says, no, I don't really feel like playing. And you know who that is? That's D-Hop. He never wants to play, and he dictates that. So if you have that dude on your team, we were talking about this offline, where it was, hey, how come so-and-so doing it? How come I'm going to do it too? I'm just as good as him, right? So if he don't have to do it, I don't want to do it.
Tell you who this puts the focus on for me too. Cliff Kingsbury, right?
Yes, sir.
If you are the CEO of his team, now imagine, Kyler in public. Yeah, I don't want to play these games. He basically was like, I hope we just go down and get a quick score and then I get out of there. That's basically what he said, right? And my thing is, wait a minute, we're out here trying to gel. I'm trying to figure out, maybe evaluate some of these guys. We're trying to figure out some of our offense and do different things. And this is your attitude coming in. For me, this is a test for Clint Kingsbury. This might be closed door. Me and you, Kyler, going inside a room to have a conversation, maybe to bring you back down to earth a little bit, meaning, hey, look, okay, I know you're our franchise quarterback, but you haven't done what some of these other guys have done. Mahomes and Rodgers and different guys who can dictate what they're going to do during the offseason. Yeah. I need you fully invested. And you got to remember, when I'm talking about everybody being on board for this, and I'm not just talking to the other 54 or 52 guys that are going to be on the roster. I'm talking to you as well.
He said about the coach pointing at everybody else saying, yeah, y'all need to be focused.
Yeah.
Y'all need to get focused up in here. You too, Kyler.
What message does that send to the rest of the team? And I know some of the veterans were probably looking at this like, what the, you basically going to dictate, and let everybody know, not just keep it. You talked about earlier about, we were offline, you and I were talking how sometimes you do things, but you keep it. Let's keep this amongst ourselves, right? He basically just told the public and everybody, I don't even want to be out here, and almost as if he was being forced to play. This time of the year is so critical, dog. You saw how sloppy things were
Very
and unorganized everything looked. This is the time to iron those kinks out. This is the time to get this team on all cylinders, because once September 9th or whatever the first game of the season is, that first of September 11th, whatever it is, this playtime is over.
Yeah.
And you're taking this time that you could be using. I was just, and I'm ranting, but I'm just so disappointed in his approach and his attitude toward that game. And we're going to talk to Earl next segment about how pathetic that offense looked. And then in contrast, you're looking at a team across the way who's been to 2 Super Bowls recently and won one, and they're out there formations, quarterback out there calling audibles, scrambling for first downs. They went for it 3 times on 4th down. They're working on different things. What did we work on and achieve in that game yesterday, last night? Absolutely nothing.
The defense showed some been doing break.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as this offense in Kingsbury, Cliff, if you're listening, if you're driving around somewhere right now, you better nip this in the bud and make sure that you are the alpha in that room. I'm telling you, because this was not a good look for our Cardinals last night.
The people that you get on the team that can end up messing up a couple of drops or something in the water.
Here's the next question: can you take that stink bomb and because a lot of teams are gonna be like, well, we're not gonna play. Like for Kansas City, they can actually say we work on a lot of stuff this game. We're gonna sit everybody or maybe give them a series next week, and because it's the last preseason game, we're out. Right? You can't do. Can you do that with what we just did? As far as I
think not,
but who knows? It might. If you can tell, I'm a little hot over there. So we're going to talk to Earl when we come back. I'm going to get his thoughts. Appreciate you hanging out, EZ and J, on the Easy Sports Talk show, KUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD channel 201.7, and Facebook as well. Be back after these messages, folks.
So you get
Clear. Do you want this? You're live.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Let's go on with that, bro. Yes, sir. This segment right here brought to you by
Colt Artisan Beverage Company, one of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees and a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. Call Colt Coffee at 623-434-0939 or visit coltcoffeeroaster.com for more information. And I believe Hans had a birthday this week.
Yeah.
And then also I know that I was on LinkedIn and I saw a new product line that's been.
Yeah. I sat with him a couple weeks ago, and he got some really good stuff coming out. So we're going to be doing some things with Colt here soon too. But we're going to jump right out to the Easy Sports Talk hotline. Great to have Brother Earl Casual E on with us from KSRN, part of the family. And I'm not sure if you heard my rant there just a little bit ago, Brother Earl. Well, first off, thank you for joining us. But what were your thoughts watching that game last night after you found out Kyler Murray's approach to not even wanting to be out there in the first place, and then you see what our offense did? What are your thoughts on him on the field and his attitude to boot?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Good luck doing that Believe Cardinals thing. But anyway.
Yes, sir.
My brother.
Man, your rant was right on, right in line, brother. I'm telling you, I saw last night, and I can't believe it. It was the same crap from last year. We just picked up where we left off. The same stuff. I mean, I looked at Kyler's interview last night. He kept saying the same thing about last year's team, about how they kind of felt themselves or whatever he was saying. But
yes,
that's the same attitude that they came in with. Feeling yourself is like you're too big for preseason. That's the same thing. So I mean, it's the same team, man. It's the same attitude, the same thing. The first thing I looked at was you got to get your quarterback in a rhythm to it. What the heck are we doing? What is our purpose of coming out here playing players? We got to show us something. I saw the same exact thing from last year. I don't know what this coach is doing. I don't know what play call. I don't know what he did. I have no clue.
And then the other thing, for the thing that disappointed me the most, Brother Earl, was you look across the way and you got a Super Bowl contending team. They've been to 2-1-1 MVP quarterback out there giving us the business. I mean, they were just rooting, just bent us over basically. And then go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. You know what? You just said that. Look at the difference. It's two different organizations and how they're being ran.
right.
Exactly.
Andy Reid has total control of his players. You look at our team, you don't know who's in control. Which K is in control? Is it Time or is it Cliff?
Yep.
No, because look at the decisions that are coming down from the top first. First of all, when you hear Cliff speak about anything about players, it's always we are doing this. We have decided to do this. It's the I. It's the I as the coach.
Right. That's a good point.
That mistake they did. They had David Collins come right out and said, he was the linebacker straight up and told George Pickens he could not compete for the job. That came from Time. That should have came from the coach. The coach would never do nothing like that. A coach would never say to a player, you don't have an opportunity to compete for this job. That's coming from the top. And so every time you hear Cliff speak in the interview, he's like, he got to make sure that they're on the same page with Time in an organization at the top. He's the coach. He's supposed to have 100% total control of what's going on with those players. Therefore, Kyler would have his butt out there as a quarterback playing meaningful football if that was the case. Kyler's looking at him like, look, I don't have to do anything because the man on top there don't have to do anything.
That's true.
I'm telling you, that's where the organization is disjointed, man. It's all out of whack right now. And it kind of reminds me of that Phoenix Suns thing when Starver kept getting in the way. Get the hell out of the way. Let the coach have the coach be the coach. And if he's not a good coach and his play calling stinks and everything is, then you know who's to really blame. But right now, the organization is all up in arms right now. I don't know who's in control of what.
Again, we have Earl Casual E. Burnett of KSRNAZ.com, Casual Sports Radio Network. So I wanted to ask you this, man. So I mentioned it during the segment, is that What do you? Is there any? Do you think there's any value to the fact that you have one gentleman in the D-Hop who kind of sets his own rules in terms of, I'm going to practice, I'm not going to practice, I'm going to play, I'm not going to play. Do you think that has any type of ripple effect with somebody else who's supposed to be a leader on the team or one of the most talented players on the team, therefore exercising what he feels are his rights to therefore opt out of things or express himself in that way as well? Do you think there's any trickle-down effect with that?
Man, absolutely. That's human nature, man. You know that. That's human nature. If I'm just as good or I'm a big name as well, and this guy comes and he can do whatever he wants, you think I'm going to do? You're going to go do the exact same thing. You're going to go straight to past the guy that don't have to say so, go straight to the side. Hey, look, this dude can't practice. Watch what happens. Okay, don't worry. You don't have to do it either, man. You go right back to that field and you act like, I'm just doing this, dude. I don't have to do it, man. It's all coming from the top. And I'm telling you, this whole thing has to be corrected from the top. And I don't think Chris is that guy. I really don't think Chris. I mean, I didn't give it another this year. I'm giving it this year. But when I look at these college coaches that come in and try to change this stuff and bring that college atmosphere to the NFL, it has not worked yet. And I don't see this dude lasting, man. This will probably be his last year. I don't see anything new or anything that's going to make me say, oh, these guys, this now I see our identity. What is our identity? Nobody knows what the identity of this team is. Nobody.
And one of the things, Brother Earl, Jay and I were talking even in between the break, and I've been there. I've been in the locker rooms. I've been with head coaches, and I respect for a head coach to get to that level. I don't care who you are; it's a great accomplishment. But I've had head coaches that maybe 40 or 50% of the locker room really respected them. When you're that far, when it's that split, you got a 50, like a large group of dudes that look at you and don't care what you say because it's like, what can you do to me? That is a bad environment. And right now, this is an opportunity for me, and it probably won't happen, but this would be an opportunity if I'm Kingsbury. I might have to have a closed door meeting with Kyler and basically set the standard of, look, I'm coach, you're the player, I know you're a franchise dude. I don't know if he has that in him though, but there has to be some type of, I guess, accountability, something. Otherwise, this season is going to be another one of those washes.
I'm gonna let you respond to that, Earl, real quick. I'm gonna let you respond to that. But one of the things it's easy to say, be home by 10, and then they come in at 10:30. Now what you gonna do? It's easy to say, you don't do what I say, man. Mm-hmm. And then when you give the order and they look at you sideways, all right, man. So do I gotta do is Brady gonna have to apply to be able to get you in line? And that's the thing. So go ahead, Earl.
That's the whole cliche, man. Actions speak louder than words, and that counts for the coach too, man. Your actions have to prove to everybody else that you mean business. So when that guy's not stealing you and not doing what you say, you gotta do something that's gonna make everybody go, oh, this guy is in control of this whole thing. Let me flip the script a little bit too, because yes, I watched a lot of tape of this team too. And there's just something to, I don't know, maybe it's just because it was a preseason game, and maybe I don't want everybody to get all up in arms about what the hell this dude talking about. But I was watching Tyler, and for some reason it seems like it's more difficult for him to do the basic stuff out there. I'm trying to say, this kid is too little to play this position.
Right. Preach.
And then when I'm sorry, when Colt McCoy came in, okay, yeah, it's still the second good, but at least Colt was getting the ball downfield.
Yes.
I'm watching Tyler go, he has a problem getting that ball downfield, stepping up into that pocket and delivering the ball. And I'm hoping that that's just a preseason thing, but think of it this way. If he's thinking that way through preseason, what makes you think if you're not getting a rep with your number ones and getting those reps out in preseason, what makes you think you just don't walk into a regular season and just don't happen?
That is Earl.
I'm a little concerned about that, man.
We preached on that all last year. His small stature and everything like that. Even more of a reason why. I mean, practice is one thing, but when the teams are wearing the other logos on the helmets, that's when it's time to be out there working hard, trying to get things corrected, right? So my question for you is: we just saw this stink bomb they put out there, 3 and outs, no, sacks. Nothing inspirational at all. Now, in Kyler's mind, he might be thinking, well, yeah, I'm a franchise guy. I don't need to be playing in the third game. That's for the scrubs out there trying to make the team. How can you take that performance that we just had and then nobody plays next week and then we roll into the following, into what will be the regular season coming up? Is there any way Kingsbury can do that?
No, absolutely not. There is no way on earth you should be thinking that way, because even if this is your thought process is, oh, this is just preseason. Okay, well, if it's just preseason, do something then. Move the ball 20 yards. Get the receiver the ball. Let's see the receiver and you get it sync and catch the ball, throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You have to move the ball. You saw Andy Reid in his offense. Yeah, they wasn't sharp.
No.
They were not sharp.
No.
What were they doing? They were moving the football
And working. Yes.
And working downfield. That was what I was looking at, Brother Elton. Okay, wait a minute. Even if we are going to be just a preseason team and we're not all, hyped up about preseason, we should still see something.
Yes.
That shows our identity. That, okay, at least when we do get, we can see this thing actually work. I didn't see none of that, bro. I didn't see nothing. I just thought, let's just go out there and snap the ball and see what happens. That's what I saw.
And the thing,
going to next week like that, man. Going into the season like, man, next week, every day starts to be playing the whole damn preseason game.
yes. And the thing about it, I'm not trying, because I know the games don't count for anything, meaning in standings and stuff like that. But they also mean so much in terms of getting that continuity together and everybody.
But energy counts. Right?
Energy counts, especially. And what I hate the most, or I hate about, we had a little bit of shine out there. I did like what I saw from Collins and Simmons, at least downhill and make some tackles and stuff like that. But in my opinion, it was all overshadowed by what we saw from Kingsbury and the Kyler Murray and the offense. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, Brother Earl. But like I said, I'm really not feeling this team heading into the season at this point.
To the point where I'm like, hey, I'm first of all embarrassed about that. I was embarrassed with that performance. It was just preseason. And I'm sitting there like, okay, Cliff, okay, now what you going to do? Are you really in control of your team, man? I mean, look at the situation that happened just last week. Is Kyler playing? Yes, he's going to play. If the game comes on, Kyler gets pulled from the game. Why did Kyler get pulled last week if he's going to come out and look like crap?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it. And then he comes off with that, oh, he looks so good in practice. And now I'm really scared of him. Okay, what looks good to you in practice?
Yeah, I've been in a couple of those practices.
1 minute when you're ready.
He looked very well in practice. Okay, so I'm expecting this Tyler Hurts to not be all. He's going to be sharp as hell. He looks good in practice. Wow, that's what he looks like.
I'm telling you, man. So,
okay, Cliff, man, this is last row right here. And this team comes out to struggle. They're going to struggle coming out of the gate after what we just saw last night. I guarantee you they come out struggling out of the gate.
oh yeah.
They're going to try to get continuity together, get those receivers together. Now the defense, if they play getting better, adding J.J. Watt, the defense is going to do some things. The defense was a highlight from last night.
Well, we appreciate you, man.
They might keep them in the game, but man, it was bad, bro. It was bad.
Well, hopefully, we'll see if they can turn this around. But we'll keep at you, Brother Earl. We're gonna get you back on here soon. Maybe even next week to talk about what this is doing. So yeah. So appreciate you jumping on with us, Brother Earl. I'm glad you stay. I'm glad you stay up my thoughts, man. I needed that backup.
Absolutely. I'll keep believing in
Oh,
that's casual. That's
Brother
casual.
Earl, man, yeah.
We appreciate him jumping on to the casual. the Easy Sports.
Sometimes you just need, and I know you always have my back, but I just needed that. Hey,
passion like you.
Heck yeah. Well, you believe in Arizona. Hey, we're gonna take this break. We're gonna come back. Appreciate you, Brother Earl. Appreciate everybody listening and hanging out with us on KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD channel 2, 100.7, and Facebook. Take this break. Give me a minute to get my blood pressure down. We'll be back after these messages.
Hey, jump on that YouTube, Easy Sports Talk Show.
There you go.
You can.
Clear.
SB Nation Radio is now
You know what? Yo, peep this. Lottie, Lottie. We like to party. We don't cause trouble.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Man, you on fire today, boy. We got on you.
Oh, yeah.
Having some fun on a Saturday. Got my blood pressure up. Got me. You just trying to hit me on, too. We talk about
what you mean.
Hey, okay, well, after this segment right here is brought to you by
Majestic Services. Contact Majestic Services to do all the dirty work around your home or business. Majestic Services will pressure wash your driveways, awnings, pool decks, sidewalks, receiving docks, and more. Call Majestic Services at 602-614-9401 for your free, no obligation quote today, or go to majesticservices.net.
And I'll let you folks behind the curtain a little bit. You know, we put our shows together, topics, you know, we have different ways to go about things, and, you know, we do a little run sheet. So, you know, Jay, you know, we always add everything and put everything in, and we try to stay on a track, but sometimes, you know, it's nice to divert.
Yeah.
So we're doing a break. We just finished all that Cardinals talk. Great to have Casual E on him. I was like, okay, which way you want to go this way, you know? And I pointed in the direction. And Jay was like, no, let's keep that fire going. Let's go here. So some other things.
Wait, so hold on. All right, so there are two different things that when you make a new acquisition. So let's say you're buying a vehicle. Two different ways you can go about it. You buy a new car, fresh new car smell, or maybe it's a slightly used car. Maybe it's, you know, maybe it's got 10,000 miles on it or something like that. So you're gonna take care of it. You're gonna get it maintenance, but you're gonna drive that thing, right? Or you can get yourself a classic, maybe a muscle car or something like that. Now that one you only take out every so often, you know, maybe once a week or maybe twice a week, something like that, only on the weekends. So it makes me think about the Cardinals have they made a new acquisition. They got a vehicle of sorts into their garage, and they have decided that they are only going to use that vehicle on a limited basis, and that vehicle, that acquisition, J.J. Watt. And so they mentioned there was an article that came out that said that the intent is to have a reduced workload in 2021 for J.J. Watt. I'm sure that you're in line with that. Easy. What do you think about that?
Well, first off, I'm watching the game. This is a preseason game, and I'm watching it. Already ticked off at the performance we see on the field. And then who did they go interview, right? Mm-hmm. They got to have Superman on the sideline. Ain't dressed yet, but we definitely got to talk to J.J. Watt, right?
Right.
And this is after I see the article that is talking about his reduced workload. They're actually planning with him, and we're going to play him 65% of the snaps. And I'm thinking to myself, you bring up a great point. You know, you go out and you spend good money on a whole bunch of things, right? Mm-hmm. There's this thing called ROA or ROE, return on ROI. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what set you repping. I'm over here repping that ROI.
ROI.
Right?
That's that return on investment,
yes,
right?
Sir, yes, sir.
So whatever you go out and purchase, you want to make sure you can get your return back as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. So they go out and spend up to $31 million in a 2-year contract for J.J. Watt. We already know he's got a history of injuries. Already showed it at the start of this. Supposedly next week he's going to be out on the field. But how long can we expect him to be ding-free? We all know that all it takes a little something, unless you know it's a hamstring or this or that, whatever it is. Right. He might go down. But your plan going into the season is we're going to reduce him to 65% of the snaps. So that's basically just a hop, skip, and a jump from half of the snaps, right?
Right.
So let's say if you play 70 in the game, we're going to play him 35, 40, you know. We're not going to with those other 30 plays. We're just going to let him sit over there and catch his breath and stay out of harm's way.
But the flip side could be that since it's reduced, so that means that you can give even a great
Let me ask you a question. And you'll love this. When the New England Patriots went out and got Cam Newton, right? We all knew they're going to ride that thing till the wheels fall off. And other than the COVID thing last year, when they had Cam out there, it was like run right, run left.
Yeah.
Run right, run left, run up the middle.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, we're going to get every bit. And that was on a friendly contract. I mean, they got that car from an auction, right? Where you went this one, they went to a classic car show. And they went and got this, souped up,
They got a cutlass.
And
768.
we can't ride it though. We're gonna keep that thing in the garage, and we're just gonna every now and then just we ain't even gonna take it on the highway. We don't want to take back roads, We ain't even gonna put it, So my thing is, you went out and spent all this money on this dude because we all know, and nobody can debate this. Cardinals overpaid for him.
Yeah.
There's some. I mean, I'm not sure what the competition was out there.
Right.
They overpaid for him.
Right.
Now you're telling us we're gonna make sure we take care of him and just use him slightly. To me, that makes absolutely no sense at all.
I tend to agree. I think it comes down to really wanting to ensure that.
Let me ask you a question. What are you saving him for? I mean, you got him for 2 years, right?
Right.
It's not like it's a long 6-year contract or anything like that. What are you saving him for?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
The only way I could even slightly buy into that is if they had gone through a long playoff run, and they said we want to make sure that what we realized when we got to the playoffs was that they were breaking down, and that even though we acquired him, we want to make sure that when we get back to that same spot, and that's what we're working towards, that we can not only get there, but we can take the next step, hopefully win, get to the conference championship, or try to get to the Super Bowl, whatever that might be. But in lieu of that, your goal is you're trying to get to the playoffs. So we need everything to get to the playoffs.
All hands on deck.
Then we can talk about management of sorts and how we pacing.
2 minutes.
Pacing the next season, but this season you have to be all out.
I mean,
all gas, no break, as they say.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are you saving it for? I mean, for me, I'm not saying get him out there and running, 75 plays,
Right.
but my percentage is going to be way up because I'm trying to get as much out of this dude as I can. And then as we get into week 8, 9, let's check the tread on the tires, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it looks like it's slowing down and we need to maybe get some new tires and give him a little bit of a break, then we do that. But you don't go into the season for me saying, yeah, we're just going to right from the very beginning, we're going to cut him back. We're going to save him. Save him for what?
So I know this. I think the reason I wanted to put this last and just give it a minute is the Larry Fitzgerald comments. I mean, if the dude ain't trying to play, you don't want him out there.
Nope.
And it's been so long for me
1 minute.
that it's okay. It's out of sight, out of mind for a lot. I think it's he's going out the way he wants. He doesn't want a lot of fanfare, and that sounds to me to be in line with his personality. So,
I'm a little shocked at how silent has been. I don't even know if he's had conversations with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Maybe he has, but I mean, he pretty much just said what was his comment? He said he just doesn't have the urge right now to play football.
Yeah. And
when we come back, I'll give you a quick story regarding that.
Okay. But
I mean, yeah, if you don't want him out there, if you don't want to be there, hey, 1 hour down. God, my blood pressure all up and everything.
20.
Kyle Murray should have been this excited last night. As excited as I am. Hey,
we're excited.
We're going to take this break. Hope you have a great weekend so far. Appreciate you listening. We'll be back.
You're okay.
to the Easy Sports Talk Show, hour 2, 1 down, 1 to go here. Having a lot of fun. It's one of those good shows. Appreciate Brother Earl jumping on with us earlier. And a lot of things to kind of dice up. Topic is his, and we'll just play with this one real quick here, but we're having some fun during the break. City of Glendale, right next door to us. I'm here in Peoria, but City of Glendale decided they are not going to renew. I'll tell that story another time. I was going to tell you about the retirement thing. But yeah, City of Glendale, they are not renewing the Arizona Cardinals or Coyotes arena agreement after the 2021-22 season. So basically, this is the last year in that arena.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me, this is one of those rare incidences. It's usually the team is either they want a new arena and we're not going back to that one. So if you don't build this one, we're leaving.
Right.
This is the city saying, yeah, no, we're good. Well, we're going to try to get some different events and other things in here. And, we appreciate you guys and see you later. Kick rocks.
Yeah.
And to me, that is really, how many games are there in the hockey season?
There are 82.
82?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to fact check us on that.
Yeah. So we'll say 82. So 41 home games during the regular season. You got to throw in preseason, whatever they do as well. And if they make the playoffs.
Right.
So you're talking potentially 40, 50 opportunities to fill that arena. And you're basically saying, now we're good. And we're going to try to get some concerts and other things that generate more money in here. That's it. Monty Jones, that sounds like hustling backwards right
Yes,
there.
sir. It does. Here's the thing that you always hear, and I definitely understand that there's validity to this, is that because the arena is located in Glendale, somebody who lives in Chandler or Gilbert, etc., they're not going to brave the traffic on a weekday to be able to go out. But then my question is, even if it was, would you do it once a week? Would you do it twice a month? Because if you look at the attendance numbers, the attendance numbers don't reflect the big spike on the weekends in terms of indicative of sellouts, right? So you're saying that if you were in Phoenix or in the East Valley, then you would show more support, but you don't show any support at all. I understand going from 100% to 50% or 100% to 25%, but they're not showing any support at all. So I just wonder how much of a difference it would make if they do end up going to finding some place to build, or maybe finding a temporary home in Phoenix or in the East Valley. But what was it? A study done, an environmental study, a marketing study was done that reflected or revealed that the amount of revenue in terms of tax revenue that's generated from each home game where the Coyotes play versus a concert, right? And so it's 2 to 1 in terms of concerts generating more tax revenue than the Coyotes. But here's the thing: if you're going to say goodbye to the Coyotes and you're saying that every concert that comes in generates $25,000 in tax revenues, you better be able to get 40 concerts in that arena,
fill at least those 40
which is
days.
unrealistic,
Yeah.
even for downtown Phoenix. That's unrealistic, I would think. But you better be able to do that because you're cutting your nose off to spite your face in a lot of instances, I think. And I could be wrong. And if anybody feels differently or maybe wants to chime in, feel free, 602-260-1060. But that's what I think.
Everything you just said there, one of the oldest sayings in the world, bird in the hand beats 2 in the bush.
Right.
You have a bird in the hand. And here's the thing, how many cities, there's only so many sports franchises in each league, right? How many cities can just say, we don't want you to a sports franchise, which in most instances generate, I don't care if it's generating just a few million or thousands, however it's calculated. But I mean, I don't know if there's a city. Think about the city of San Diego. You think they would they could do a do-over right now when they just ushered the
San Diego
Chargers out of town?
Yeah,
I have people over
I've
there.
heard both sides of that, but I think that they would rather have them
than not.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll see. Like I said, for me, that's we'll see. Here's the other thing: how quickly, if you're and maybe they've been dealing with this for a while, but if you're the Coyotes, you don't have a whole lot of time to find a new place out here.
You would think that it's been they've had some discussions, but if it wasn't, and they just
Are you going to build something, or
it would take too long.
It would take too long. It would take too long.
But here's the thing: again, with the city of Glendale, if you fire your best salesperson, you better already have somebody else that you are just waiting to just tell HR to send the job offer to. You better have these events lined up. And we know that we're hopefully not. I was talking to somebody yesterday as they were trying to fight the 10th wave of COVID. But you better hope that you have all these different events and RV shows or whatever you're gonna have lined up and ready to go, because otherwise you're going to have egg on your face.
And I do think the location of the arena was whoever planned that out in the first place, putting it in that little cubby out in Glendale. I know it's next to the stadium, but it just never made sense to me because, like you mentioned, you can be a hockey fan, but who's coming from Chandler on a Wednesday, Tuesday, or Thursday night to watch a game all the way out there and then turn around and go back home too? I just think it should have been more centrally located. So we'll keep track of that one. Another thing happened this week, the Suns' full schedule came out, and I know there are a lot of people excited. 34 national games for the upcoming season. It's a full 82-game schedule. It starts in October, right?
Right.
Some interesting things. Last year, and I know it was a condensed schedule of 72, but imagine this number, 34 compared to only 13 nationally televised games last year.
Right.
This year they'll play 11 times on ESPN, 9 times on TNT, 3 times on ABC, and then 11 times on NBA TV. And they have the fifth most nationally televised games behind, of all people, your Lakers at 42, Golden State at 41, Nets at 38, and Milwaukee at 36. How disrespectful is that to the Milwaukee Bucks, though?
I mean, you don't really care about the Bucks, man.
They just want to sue on a title.
Your son care about the Bucks.
They just want a title. They should have a little more love than that to be fifth on
their state.
Well, I say this much though: the Lakers game, they better have them really early on television because those dudes are gonna be sleepy by like 7:30.
We are live on a couple different ways. I don't flip you off. But here's what's interesting to me. So that you let me know if this is a big deal at all. I counted 13 back-to-back games throughout the season. But there's 1 week, the week of November 21st, 5 games in that 1 week.
Whoa!
Yeah, the week of November 21st. So Denver, Orange is at home, right? So home against Denver, away at San Antonio, away at Cleveland, away at they travel to New York to play the Knicks, and then they play the Brooklyn Nets. That's
in the week?
On that Saturday. Yeah, that's in 1 week. So, the week of the 21st.
So, Sunday to Saturday, 5 games. So, they get Tuesday and Thursday off.
Yeah. And the week prior to that, so that's going to be an interesting – it's early in the season. But it's going to be interesting to see because the week prior to that, they play 4 games a week. And for the most part during the season, until you get into – there are a lot of games where they're playing – a lot of weeks where they're playing four games in a week. So they're at between 3 and 4, but that's coming right off of a 4-game week.
Here's the other interesting part, though. The season was pushed back, obviously, with the finals and everything going late, and we actually played all the way into July, if I'm not mistaken, right? So your break, and then you got Booker going over to play in the Olympics. You're talking about no time, no rest, coming back by October for the full 82. That's going to be pretty taxing. Yeah, I wonder if they'll do any load management for him.
So here's the thing about the taxing thing, and I really want to get your thoughts on it because you've mentioned this before when we discussed kind of that break or that kind of maybe that hangover or whatever that might be. So if let's say you're an older player like a Chris Paul or maybe even a Jay Crowder because he's a veteran in that way. Does a shorter turnaround can negatively impact you maybe more than somebody who's Devin Booker's age, right? Or Bridges, or what am I thinking of? Your man from UNC,
Cam. Yeah.
So is it?
Don't ever disrespect me like that, man. You know that. You should know that man's name off the top of your head. Who that dude from UNC?
Who that? So if you had a 3 or 4 week layoff, couldn't that be enough? if you're, I'm just throwing it out there. Or is that just way too much? You're thinking, goodness gracious, man, it was just a month. You know, it was all good.
Here's an analogy. Remember we talked about LeBron, like in the tread on his tire.
Yes.
When you're young, like a Booker and some of the Cam and different players, everybody starts out whatever their tank is at 100, full tank, right?
Right.
At some point, you do all the driving and you get down to a half a tank.
Yes, sir.
And you go to put gas in it. Now imagine now you go to put gas in it and there's a cap on how much you can get in there,
Right.
but it's not getting you back to 100%. The younger players, they don't have that cap, and you can get it closer to the 100%. So because they have the recovery, especially if they're taking care of stuff like that. The older players, man, your 100% is now actually 75 or 80%. So for the younger players, you can bounce back, but you still never get to. I mean, this shortened condensed season, they will start to feel it earlier in the year than they normally would, meaning dragon tail and stuff like that. Normally you get past Christmas. These dudes probably around Christmas are going to be like looking at the rest of that schedule like, damn.
And then it's going to be interesting to see how they react to increased expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Based upon all of the national spotlight.
Exactly. So appreciate you hanging out. EZ and J on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM as well as KSLX HD channel 200.7 and Facebook. Got a lot of stuff to still catch up on, a lot of topics. Hope you're having a great Saturday so far. Enjoying your weekend wherever you may be. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're going to take this break. Be back after these messages.
You okay?
how you came about making that song?
Yeah, it was in terms of after having a conversation with Bob Kendrick of the Negro League Baseball Museum, and I thought that would be kind of cool to maybe do something to pay homage. And so connected with my partner Kane, and he sent the beat, and then just recorded it, and just wanted to put that out there for people to consume and listen to.
Yes, sir. And that is tight, bro. Like I said, I'm not saying it just because you're my partner and my brother.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that's one of those ones. I actually have that one on my iPod. That's one of those ones when it comes up, you gotta turn that up.
Oh, snap. I can't know.
This segment right here is brought to you by
Casual Sports Radio Network, KSRNAZ.com is your destination for the latest updates and in-depth coverage of your Arizona sports teams, including all things Arizona Cardinals for the Bird Gang fan base. Visit KSRNAZ.com for feature articles, great podcasts such as the repurposing of the EZ Sports Talk Show, and music programming such as Microphone Masters and Disposable Arts and more.
And it's been a rough season for our Diamondbacks, but we always have to show them some love. I know it's a long year, and when you're having a season like this, it actually illustrates how long 162 is.
Yes.
Because when you're having a good year, it's like, this is flying by. Man, when you're 41 and 82, and you still got 40 games, of basically like 35, 40
when you said
games.
it hit me. What? It just hurt.
Bro, 162, you talk about the dog days.
You try to find your small victories wherever you can.
And right now, you actually brought up a point, good research on your behalf.
Yeah, and I felt because I heard somebody mention that, and I thought, let me
up until last night, because I think they lost last night, but they are 15 and 16 since the All-Star break, which was in the middle of July. And you're 15 and 16. Bro, when you're 41 and 82, you look for, like you said, the smallest of victories. Mm-hmm. 15 and 16, that's one shy of being at 500. Man, you got to just keep rolling from there. Right. At some point, you got to put the past behind you and just see what you can figure out.
Yeah.
And I know there's some guys on there, because the thing about professional sports, it's a team game, but it's also an individual game. You're playing for your money. Yes. You're playing for your, where you might be next year. So we'll see how much pride those guys have in that locker room moving forward as they continue to fight.
And I know you're the motivational speaker, but you have to realize you're only one choice away from changing your circumstances.
Oh, yeah.
So once you make the choice, then it's a matter of the little things that you do to help you to get on track to reach your goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened in the past, you can't change that. It is what it is. What can I do now moving forward? And so what they've done is, more kind of younger players.
Playing,
but
they did the roster
curve. The learning curve that comes along with that, and some of the ebbs and flows. And so at least there's been some time. And then with with Bumgarner being able to, he's been very consistent outside of what I think it was 2 or 3 starts at the beginning of the season, and that helps. But you don't want to be the big dog just hanging around with some 500 level guys. You want to go to a team that has greater aspirations and greater potential.
And we did have a bright spot last weekend on Saturday after our show. Tyler Gilbert ends up throwing a no-hitter in his first career start. Now, he had 4 other appearances in the big leagues, and I didn't know that, so I did a little research, but they were just appearances. So in his first career start for us last Saturday against the Padres.
Right.
I always look at opponents and they're battling against the Dodgers and the Giants. So these dudes are the Giants, yeah. Yes. So this wasn't one of those this wasn't one of those Diamondbacks Miami Marlins games, where it's nobody, this was actually against the Padres to come out and no-hit them. Yes. But he threw a no-hitter, only the 4th Major League pitcher in the history of the game to throw a no-hitter in his first career start. And we know baseball goes a long, long way back. So to be on that short list, now we'll have to see whether, and I think he's like 27 years old, so he's not a young dude in terms of, professional sports. A lot of times you hear he's making his first start, rookie, 21, 22 years old. No, he's 27 years old, but he will go down in history, like I said, being only the 4th dude to ever do that in a career start.
And I mentioned it because I ended up somehow at your crib last week. So I mentioned what I heard Torey Lovullo say, that he had negotiated. Initially coming in, they had a pitch count, right? So it was 84, 85, something along those lines. And he negotiated. And again, I said this to you. I said I
Yeah.
clearly heard him say negotiated. A pitch count of 107. What was it? No, 105. And he ended up with his pitch count at 102.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've talked about when Earl was on earlier, we talked about the difference between which K
Who's
is
making the
K is making the decision as a Cardinals Kingsbury. In the world that we live in now with baseball, with Major League Baseball, it's the general manager that's making those decisions, right?
Oh,
In
yeah.
terms of
Analytics.
Analytics. It's just saying, okay, Tori, Ed's pitching today, pitch count of 90. What are you talking about? Can we? No. Or if you're dealing and you're a no hitter, as with evidence here, what would they say if he was just, let's say it was the 8th inning and he was at 105?
There's no way they could have pulled him out of the game.
Come on, that just didn't sit right with me to hear the word negotiate. Maybe it was whatever. It comes down to semantics. It comes down to word choice. But it just didn't sit right with me to hear I negotiate.
It's today's the world of analytics and everybody overanalyzing everything. For me, 27 years old is not a young arm. So you're not. This dude's been around the block at least a couple times.
Right.
Wherever he started his career from, I think it was a Rule 5 guy that they picked up at some point.
So many different rules in baseball.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, but so now if you consider this. Let me make sure. If you consider Tyler Gilbert like his huge prospect, you might want to protect him a little bit. But it's almost like you're overanalyzing this. If your pitch count and you're not going to let this dude get this no hitter, regardless. Now here's the thing: you're not going to let him throw 150 pitches,
right?
But I'm not even considering like looking at the number till he's over 100 plus. And then we can negotiate. Okay, well, I'm not going to let him go 125 or whatever. And it's also how he feels, And you can always let him get the no hitter, and then you skip a spot in the rotation. There's all these different things you can do.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know why you have to negotiate. From 90 now it's 105. So that's just a part of the game. And here's the thing. I talked to our great friend Howard Peretz, who emailed you last week, or actually this week. I caught up with him, but. We're going to have him on to do some comparison. I hope you have to listen, Howard. We're going to come up with a topic of baseball today versus baseball when he watched it. Versus all these analytics and garbage. We'll get his thought on.
Right.
And he's, great mind in terms of what he's seen in the past. So we'll get that.
The eye test is going to be valued, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing I can't understand. And we saw this last year in the playoffs with Tampa Bay and the Dodgers. Remember? Dude,
Tampa Bay should have had a World Series.
Yes, sir. You get to a point, pitchers out there dealing, but he's going through the lineup twice. So now, and they go out and take him out of the game. Woo. This dude, now you can even see the look on his face. He's like, "Excuse me, what you coming out here for?"
And then you lose the game, and you the manager doing this.
Yeah, because of analytics. So and the thing is, we always know sports kind of map out what happens in the business world as well. We'll have to do a study on analytics in the business world, how they've gotten to a point where maybe they're, instead, like you always bring up, if you're a great salesperson, then like what's the scale or how they,
More swings is that it comes down to in the book it's called what is it, Hustle. It's that you can have somebody that has a 300 average, somebody that has 200 average. Who do you want? If I told you that, who do you want, the 300 or the 200 average?
Because I know where you're going, I want the dude that's more efficient. A 300 average, which you've only swung so many times compared to a dude that's swinging. Continuing
to get opportunities and continuing. So yes,
see, right here, Doc. Right here. See, yeah. So
now I'm smart. Yeah, I thought the other way initially. I'm smart like you, so I get it now.
Yeah. So we'll keep track of the Diamondbacks. Like I said, this is one of those seasons where everybody's looking at the calendar like, when is September 30 going to get here? Or whatever the last day of the season is.
Yeah, some of them might be coming in it's a slightly more of a bounce in your step when you're 15 and 16 in your last 31. Isn't it funny how it goes, well, you're 2 and 3 in your last 5, or you're 6 and 4 in your last 10. But the point is, in terms of that recency, a little bit more of a bounce in your step. When you feel that you have an opportunity to win a game.
Yes, indeed. And like I said, I've been there, bro. I know the struggle of this one right here, and it is nothing nice about it.
We got
One minute.
less than a minute. Have you ever been a part of a no hitter?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
on both sides. yeah. One
I'm
of my
thinking
friends,
of the positive side. You saying
I was a part of a perfect game one time, playing third base, and everybody's nervous. What, the seventh or eighth inning?
Yeah.
One hopper down the line. Your boy takes one step. I dive. I get it. Hit the chalk. Jump up, and umpire. Fair ball. Man, I threw that thing into the 30th row trying to get over there, and they gave me the error, which I didn't think I really deserved. That was, but.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So I've been on both sides of them, bro. Ain't nothing nice about being no hit either. Hey, we're gonna take this break. Be back. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Enjoying your weekend so far. EZ and J on the EZ Sports Talk Show. KDUS 1060 AM as well as KSLX HD Channel 200.7 and Facebook. Be back after this message.
Check
Folks.
us out on YouTube as well. EZ Sports Talk Show.
Yes, sir.
You get.
Clear. Your life.
And welcome back to the EZ Sports Talk Show. Hope you are enjoying your Saturday. Appreciate you hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday out here, sunny Saturday out here. A little humid, a little hot, but it's all good. We're getting closer to September and that good weather coming. This segment right here is brought to you by
And that good with the company. So to get into a new edition in Heartbreak. Ross Trisbert going through other MTV Productions. Master the Brand Productions is a multi-service video production company that specializes in unearthing the pain points of your brand and providing digital solutions with relatability to engage your target audience. MTV Production align themselves with your vision to create amazing video content to highlight your business's entire unique story. For more information, call 623-335-0735 or visit mtbproductions.com.
And you know, when we put these shows together, sometimes I treat them like, you know, like when I'm having steak, right? You know, you got a perfectly cooked steak, and you want to save that fatty piece, that part to last, you know, because that, you know, that's what flavor is in the fat. You know, and you eat around the edges and everything. You can save that last piece because that's gonna be the best part. I do the same thing with my seafood too, like my lobster and stuff like that. Like I want that big juicy piece, so I can dip that in the butter. And, you know, this hungry, I'm mouth watering over here too. But we got a couple topics in this segment. The second one, that's the big juicy piece of a steak that we've been saving and savoring. But some other news, as far as NCAA, the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 are looking to form this alliance. They're starting some meetings to kind of battle the SEC. We saw what the SEC did in terms of coaching Texas and Oklahoma. So now the word is that these three conferences, they're like, look, hey, why don't we just, you know, we need to partner up and we can go beat them. You know, it's like three little dudes against the big dude. So, you would think, you know, you're talking about some big conferences, but bruh, the SEC is the bully on the block.
Bully on the block. Here's the thing that I've heard, because I started to hear about some of this news last week, I think Saturday or Sunday. And so driving around and listening to kind of satellite radio, and from what I understand, there was a gentleman that's with the Associated Press that was saying that what he's been, as far as he was aware of, and of course the news was kind of fresh, is that it's more along the lines of what you'll often see, and ASU is a great example. I remember one year when ASU played, they're all my alma mater, but they played San Jose State. They don't have any business playing San Jose State or Sacramento State or some of those different schools. And so what can we do? Or some of these, you'll hear, it changed last year, which lets you know that a lot of this stuff is BS, but it's, hey, ASU is going to play Texas Tech 5 years from now. And so to be able to try to make some of those bigger, more marquee matchups happen more frequently. So, hey, it's one of those things where here's my group of folks that I do business with. So I'm going to do business with you, even though I know somebody else, even though I know somebody down the road does pressure washing or does motivational speaking or whatever the case may be. I'm going to stick with my crew to be able to make sure that we can keep that money between us and raise our level of visibility in our revenues and all those things. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. It depends upon how committed they are to the idea or the concept.
Yeah. Well, who I feel sorry for the most is the Big 12, because they're not being included in any of these talks. Obviously, they've already been pilfered by the SEC with Texas, Oklahoma. So then you got these three talking, you know, like in a separate room. Hey, we want to at least try to battle the SEC. And so in some of the areas that will help us at is in scheduling. And then instead of us like forming or doing expansion or whatever it is in terms of like breaking up our leagues, let's work together and keep them together. And then meanwhile, the Big 12 was over there like, damn, y'all, everybody just forgot about us. So they're going to be.
This is what it is. It's walking down the street. It's, I need to borrow your car. What? Some people want to borrow a cup of sugar. You want to borrow my car? Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
You want to borrow my car?
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see where this goes. And I'll dive deeper into and get a little more information on what they're planning. But as far as schedule, now here's the thing. If you're those three, meaning ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12, now we're going to fight against the SEC. Now, do you keep your big players away from them? Meaning, okay, well, you want to take everybody, you go ahead and play with yourself then. We're going to do all of our inner like our out of conference game, we're going to play with each other. You're no longer going to be able to come to us and play our Pac-12 teams or that type. So maybe if they're forming this alliance, it could, I don't know, it could get ugly.
It might come to one of those. What am I thinking of in terms of the team in the Big 12? But let's say one of those schools is saying
Baylor.
Let's say Baylor is saying they're all in there and they say we're not going to do it. Blah blah, right? And Baylor just got a text from UCLA saying they want to play, and they say,
Yeah.
I thought you said that, and then a couple of years later they find out that they've gone against that. But you ultimately do what's in your own best interest.
Yeah.
You try to think of it. It's what percentage of what you do you keep in mind, or the decisions that you make do you keep in mind the others? So it's one of those things.
Well, it's time for me to eat that big piece of steak, man. The last piece of steak, the juicy one with all the fat on it. And here's the thing: I don't wish bad on anybody. But earlier in the week, I think it was very early in the week on Tuesday, I got a text from my buddy, my brother, Kenneth Pleasure, and he was alerting me to some cuts that were already being made from the round of 90 down to 85. So you don't expect any big names to be on that list. But there was one Tim Tebow over in Jacksonville who got released in the first round of cuts after the first preseason game last week. And it was, like I said, I was no harm on anybody.
I felt like a hater in retrospect when I started thinking about it, and I told you about it on Believe in the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you go to Believe.com and go to Easy Sports Talk. Easy Sports Talk. Oh, goodness, EasySportsTalk.com to make sure that you listen to this week's episode. But the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, no, like I said, no ill will. Everybody says he's a great guy. I just was looking at him getting this opportunity to play tight end in the league,
right,
where he had never done it before. I'm not saying I was not wishing failure on him, but that brother failed, bro. When you look, I lost because after I got the word, I went and looked at some of his snaps from the game, and bro, you could tell he had never so much as hit anybody or tried to block anybody like that. It was, now here's the thing, and I joked with you about this when we did the Believe in the Arizona Cardinals, when we did talk about this. You got to be pretty low on the totem pole to get cut in the round of 90 going to 85. Yeah. And with his name and the opportunity and who he knows, meaning Urban Meyer, you know how bad he had to be for Urban Meyer to say, hey, Tim, I got to have a talk with you. Could you bring your playbook?
Yeah.
That means it was no go.
And you said it was a lot of, when you watch some of the plays, it looked as if it was 1, 2, 3.
Well, no, when I was
just very, very mechanical.
They showed a lot of the film, like ESPN, of like drills and not pads, and I'm watching him running his routes, and he was so mechanical. It was almost like he was the Tin Man on the Wizard of Oz. He's straight up running with the arms, and then breaking down, and then take. The tight end position is so athletic these days, and it's not. And I knew he was going to have trouble, one, because that level of non-athleticism, if that's a word, is everything is so smooth. And I've been there before when you're practicing, you're going through your drills, especially when it's non-contact, and then all of a sudden you put the pads on, and now you got a dude standing over you who his job is to not let you off the line of scrimmage, and all that, nice and easy, the swim moves and the rip and all that kind of stuff that you do in practice. Man, that's real nice and it looks great. And all of a sudden you get the real film where dudes are out there live action. Bruh, it's nothing nice. There's no easy way to get off the line of scrimmage. You can have the best technique in the world. All that goes out the window. And I didn't see that athleticism in him that he would be able to get out there. And all of a sudden now, instead of a rip, you got to literally just get that arm up, get him off, you slap whatever it is, and then get into your route. And he just, and then the blocking portion of it, people took that for such, I'm like, the blocks, if anybody out there, go and look at a couple of his plays where he was out there trying to throw shoulders into people. He had no idea. Blocking is all about your hands.
I saw that. I know we're talking about Tebow, but I saw that a couple of times with Xavier Collins where he was trying to tackle somebody and he was trying to tackle with his shoulder as opposed to wrapping somebody.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And with tight ends, like I said, when you're blocking, bro, it's all about these hands getting in there on in the pads and on the, technically on every play you can call holding, but that's it. You got to get your hands in there, get a hold and control. The dude with who has control is a dude with his hands on the inside. There were times when I'd shoot to get my hands in, and his hands would get in on mine, and now he's got a hold of my shoulder pads and the bro like a rag doll. And that, but when I'm watching him block, and he's out there like using his shoulder, he had a block where he came like across the formation and literally just tried to throw his shoulder into the dude. The dude was like, "What's that?" He just brushed him aside and made the tackle in the backfield. So the experiment is over. That's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
No ill will, but the fact that he was trying to play my position and do it, like I said, like I said, if he would have done it, I'd have been like, hey, great athlete. We saw he was not up to the task.
You lied. Because you would have said, I mean, he did, but where I did it was a little different. So I played like this, and I did like this. You don't know.
Well, like I said, now he can go up in the booth and make his millions up at the SEC network or whatever.
I think
it
he
is,
would have
so.
probably still stayed with the SEC network during the course of the season. It would have been the day before. He would have been flying in. As long as he made that 553. Yeah.
Last segment coming up. That was a good piece of steak, bro. We're going to take this break. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Be back after these messages.
You can.
See, now I can put that behind me.
Indeed.
You have movies or no? The EZ Sports Talk Show. And before we break out, I want to give a special shout out to Coach D, Varsity Sports Show. Does a great job leading to our show, and that man has been working hard and doing a lot of great things around the valley. Want to just let everybody know how hard he's been working. He has a nice article that he sent out. Some people giving him some recognition.
Cool.
And we also want to get back out and start getting our live remotes and everything, and maybe do some things with Coach. I'm still on that. The back is not quite there yet. Well, I'm working. I'm doing more physical therapy twice a week. So I'm working. Eventually, we will get back out there across the valley doing our remotes and everything. But just want to give Coach a shout because, like I said, that man's working hard. He's doing a lot of great things, not just in radio, but a lot of the people he's working with, the different foundations. And I think he had a show. Well, not think
Art is on the line.
he had a show for the veterans. Before we jump out to the Easy Sports Talk Hotline, let me get our thank yous in real quick. I want to thank Mac Milano and the family at Milano Music, Brother Hans Schatz at Co-Artist and Beverage Company, Brother Earl for jumping on with us today, and Sean from Casual Sports Network, Majestic Services, Christy Rogers from Arizona, Brother Howie Schwab with Win Quick, great sports trivia app, Mark Twain Beaver over at MTB Productions, Joanna Rosalie and Ed Cole at Inside Sports, Customer First Solutions, and as I mentioned, Coach D, Alicio, and the Varsity Sports Show. And special hello to Mama D and Papa D, too. Love them. And thanks, Earl, for jumping on the show with us. And Aaron behind the glass, as always, you do a fabulous job. You said something?
Yeah, just want to give a quick shout out to a partner of mine, Sean Tully. He and his girlfriend just had their first child, a baby girl. So congratulations.
Congratulations. So let's jump out to the Easy Sports Talk Hotline. Brother Art's on. What's going on, Brother Art?
What's up, man?
Man, I'm telling, man, great show as usual. Like I said, just because I ain't calling here don't mean I ain't listening.
Yes, sir.
I ain't really got that much to say because y'all done covered the topic. But the topic is about to this state, man. You ain't invited me and Mr. You got to quit doing it like that, man. We out there hiking and trekking and riding bikes and walking marathons and running marathons. You ain't invited us to now cookout, man. I can tell somebody on you.
Brother Art, that is on the calendar. We're going to put one on the calendar. I'm going to have you guys over. I'm going to barbecue. We're going to watch some football. Maybe on one of these Sundays.
Some containers, man. Come with some containers.
You gonna go get us some guns or whatever from the food place over there we always got a couple of weeks ago. We gotta have some birds too, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're gonna get it in. That's a bet right there, Brother Art. Appreciate it. Okay, hey, bro, I'm down. Like,
Mr. Ayuki, we holding you to that. Write this down right now. Put it on the sticky note, man, and fold it up like a mailbox.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, thank you.
I just want to say really one thing, man. When you say about this, man, watch out for them Brewers. You got, of course, the Dodgers. They didn't track the Giants down. And shout out to the D-backs, man, because I'm from LA, but it ain't where you from, is where you at. They don't want 7 in a row, and they're just West Philly, man. So they kind of playing good ball, like me out to play, which you should do. But anyway, man, hell of a show, great show. Y'all stay blessed, man. And I'm looking for my thank you too, huh? And I'm gonna listen to you.
There you go.
Hey, and I'm holding you to that barbecue.
Yes, sir.
You know what I need to bring.
Hey, we go. That's what's up right there. That's a great call, Brother Art. You will get your invite. We're gonna put that together. We'll talk about it and get that together. Real quick before we go, there's something on TV, and our brother, you brought us back to baseball. Yeah. There's something on TV, and that's my ish right now. You called me the other day,
and you was chilling out on the couch. I said, "You watching something?" I'm watching
Little League Baseball World Series, and this year is different because no international teams over, so they actually have 16 American teams or teams from here. And folks, if you're a baseball fan, even if you're not, you need to watch these kids. Some of the level of play and what they do out there. Yeah. It is so entertaining. I could watch, and I do. I actually record them. Just a little bit ago, I asked Quinn because I forgot it. I told him, hey, record it on because I love watching Little League World Series baseball. These kids are balling. I love it. If you're looking for something to do, there's a whole bunch of preseason football on. I'll watch that. I'll watch Little League baseball 10 times before I watch any of that preseason football. So give these kids some love. If you got to look for something to do, make sure you check it out. So,
real quick, I want to say again, make sure you follow us on all our social media stuff. So again, Facebook is Easy Sports Talk Show. YouTube. Again, we have a YouTube channel where you can find live episodes of Bleeding Heroes on Cardinals as well. But EZ Sports Talk Show. And then Twitter, of course, is the EZ Sports Talk. And then we have, of course, the website is EZSportsTalk.com.
There you go. So let's jump into, if you're not going to watch, or if you do watch your League baseball and you want to catch a couple movies, let's throw a couple of selections out there for our listeners. Aaron, you got a movie that people should be hyped on?
Well, last week we had Friday the 13th was coming up, I think, or there was something going on that was around that time. Maybe it was the day before.
Last Friday was Friday.
Had been the day before. But I was thinking of some horror movies that I've liked. There's a great movie, it's called It Follows, that came out a few years ago. It's really good.
Okay.
The Conjuring movies are really good if you like paranormal stuff. I'm a big horror movie guy. I'm not a little slasher person, like the Freddy and Jason movies. Like The Conjuring, Paranormal Activity, those are good ones to check out.
I'm gonna check out The Conjuring. I've never seen that one.
Okay. Couple for me. There's a movie, it's called Dope. It's kind of one of those.
I got that on the shelf here, yeah.
It's a good movie. It's good comedy. There's a great scene in there that talks about, if you know about gang life, the C word and versus the B word and all that stuff. So using C's and B's. But it's a really good movie. I thought it was pretty.
It's really good. It is a good movie.
Good action in it.
Yeah.
And then the other one is I like this movie. He really hasn't been in any movie since. I think the 8 Mile, Eminem.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a really good movie, especially the last scene, so to speak, with the battle that goes on. I thought
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. It was much better than I thought. I was hoping it wouldn't be one of those. Hoping it wasn't going to try to be like Purple Rain in that sense. I mean, I like Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Of course, I love it. But 8 Mile's good.
Yeah, that is great movies. Good choices. I got a couple of little eclectic here. Little Miss Sunshine. I don't know if you ever seen Little Miss Sunshine. 2006.
I recall that movie.
It's a family's little journey to get her to the Little Miss Sunshine pageant over in California. They actually come through here. Okay. A lot of movies were shot here on our highways. And at one time, back in 2006 to 2010, I used to live up off of I-17 Carefree Highway in Toronto. They actually showed them going past my exit in the movie. I was like, that's right. So at some point, they were in my area shooting the movie. But that's a great movie. A lot of it, and it was a low budget movie that some great actors probably took pay cuts to make it, and it was kind of independent. It was a really good movie. You got to check that one out. Okay. Then this one, White Man Can't Jump.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's so many good lines in that movie. You got Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, and her voice gets me all the time. What's her name? Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez. So, but a lot of great lines in that one, and obviously, in the end, it taught us that white men can jump a little bit.
You said Rosie Perez. Spike Lee movie.
So, which one was that? That's
The Ice.
Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Radio Raheem.
So you can think of Radio Raheem if you want.
You're thinking of Rosie, okay.
Yes.
So what you got going to finish the weekend out, man?
My lovely wife is out of town this weekend. She'll be back tomorrow. So my sons and I were going to go to, you might catch us at an aquarium out in Scottsdale. We're going to be going out. Just some little family fun time. We typically do a Friday family night, so we didn't do it last night because of what my youngest wanted to do. So we'll be out there and probably stop by that White Castle out there.
Oh man, White Castle! There's one in Scottsdale.
Yeah,
that's the one. Okay,
that's the one we'll talk about.
I haven't been out much, obviously, on that side of town, and it was I think like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was driving. I was coming up the 101 or coming around, and I saw the sign too late. And I was like, I can't go back. And then I think there was a line out there too. So I just kept it moving. But man, I haven't had a good White Castle in a long time.
I've had White Castle in New York, so
yeah.
I say it's comparable.
Then there's the southern version, because when I was in Atlanta all those years, it was White Castle and it was Crystal Burger. I don't know if you ever had Crystal.
Never had Crystal.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Crystal is the southern version of White Castle, But I've had to say White Castle probably does it for me a little better.
Yeah,
just a little bitty.
It's over time. I like it. My wife had built it up so much the first time I had ever had it when we were in New York. Like you gotta have it's a number one burger. But if I'm just going and saying I'm hungry, okay, great.
That's exactly. No offense to anybody out there.
One minute.
That's exactly how I felt the first time I had In-N-Out burger after all the years of everybody building it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a regular burger.
I like some In-N-Out, but yeah, that's why I try to temper. So I know a good burger.
People made it seem like that was the,
And then as soon as you take that bite, they're waiting for you to just.
yeah, like, oh my God, that's a regular burger. So no offense. Hey, appreciate brother Art calling in there toward the end. Definitely we're gonna put this stuff on the calendar. So hey,
30.
thank you everybody for hanging out with us this Saturday. Hope you have a great finish to your weekend.
We said thank you,
We
Aaron,
said-
right?
Yeah, we said I kept him off you today too, Aaron. See, so hey, we're gonna be back next week. Hope you have a great finish to your weekend. Stay cool out there. We're heading toward the fall, at least what they call fall, but we'll get there soon enough. Till next week, be easy out there.
Yeah.
Appreciate you hanging out. EZ and J, KDUS 1060 AM, Cal Selects, HD Channel 2, 100.7 Facebook. Give it to him, bro.
Are you okay?
We out.
I'll be on that kryptonite. On that kryptonite.
You guys are clear. Good show. I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. See ya.
Okay.
And KSLX HD2 Scott